Bowlers, it's practice time. Your lanes are now ready for 10 minutes of practice.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first live broadcast from the 2013 USBC Women's Championships. We are over here at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center in this fantastic venue built from the ground up. 44 lanes, similar to what you've seen at the USBC Open Championships in the past and at the Women's Championships starting in 2010. So a great venue and some great bowlers on the lanes today. USBC Hall of Famers Leanne Hulsenberg and Terrell-Kearney, and no doubt their talented team, and some lucky folks sharing the pair with them today who also will find their way onto the airwaves. So we look forward to bringing you this first of many broadcasts from the WC here in 2013. Right now, the lanes are on for practice. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith, and we'll be right back with the action.
2 minutes remaining in practice.
Thank you everybody for joining us this morning here at the USBC Women's Championships. That is the 2-minute warning. And then competition will be underway. Looking forward to an exciting broadcast here from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. Once again, Matt Kinizar and Aaron Smith back at it from our live streaming, well, quadruple header, I guess, so to speak. We started things off last night at 7 p.m. at the National Bowling Stadium for the 2013 USBC Open Championships. Terrell Owens, former NFL star, made his Open Championships debut. And that was followed by 2012 regular doubles and all events champion Matt McNeil putting his titles on the line, and he came up a little bit short, made a run at singles, moved into second place. So it was an exciting broadcast. I encourage you all to check that out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BullTV. Both of those broadcasts are there. And now, of course, we are here at the Women's Championships for the first live event of 2013. Going to be an exciting day. Aaron Smith standing by quietly. And the action will continue later tonight at the USBC Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So tune in to Bull TV and just leave it on. We'll be here all day and all night and all weekend. So it should be a good time. Aaron Smith, what's going on?
Mr. Canizaro, doing great. Another beautiful day here in Reno, Nevada. This practice is just about over. It's been a busy evening, to say the least.
Practice time is now over.
All the fun events you've already mentioned, but we're looking forward to our very first live stream from the Women's Championships. First one in a few years as well, so this is a nice treat. We'll be here a few times throughout the tournament season. 2013 Women's Championships kicked off on March 1st and will conclude July 1st.
Bowlers, at the sound of the bell, you may begin your competition. Good luck, good bowling, and we'll see you back here again next year at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center.
And with the bell, we are ready to begin.
Well, Aaron, I can't say that was the smoothest transition from the Open Championships to the Women's Championships we've ever had, but everything seems to be in order. Maybe? Maybe not.
Leading off for Team Terrell-Kearney is Callan Washburn. A little background on Washburn. She's from Tucson, Arizona. And a former collegiate bowler out of Delaware State University. It's also where Kim coached for a few years before joining the Team USA coaching staff. Callan is a two-time All-Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference bowling selection in her time at Delaware State. And also led the Hornets to 2 NCAA tournament appearances. So I'm sure she will work her way right in with this team environment here. I believe this is her first Women's Championship, so we can find out. Bowling second for Team Terrell-Kearney is Lauren Takahashi, a two-time titleist here at the Women's Championships. She teamed up with Leanne Hulsenberg to take the 2006 Classic Doubles title, with a 1466 total. And also part of the 2007 Classic Team Champion, which 4 of the ladies on this group belong to. Stepping up third is Sandra Terrell. She's also part of that 2007 Classic Team Champion. She starts off with a Brooklyn strike. Now we have USBC Hall of Famer Kim Terrell-Kearney stepping up on lane 27. Kim gets off to a strong start as well.
All right, Aaron, I'm getting the hang of this. We are transitioning to the Women's Championships. A little confusion there on our graphics. There it is. USBC Women's Championships live from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center in Reno, Nevada. A little confusion at the beginning as to where we were, what time it was. I'd like to set the over-under on how many times I say Open Championships or National Bowling Stadium over the course of the next 3 hours.
Well, you still haven't called me a meal yet this year, so I feel confident. This one-of-a-kind venue with the big words 2013 USBC Women's Championships, Reno, Nevada, across the top of the scoreboards will remind you.
I hope so. Or the fact that we've been awake for 26 hours, perhaps, because there's so much going on in Reno this week. It's pretty amazing. If you're a bowler, if you're competitive, if you're a bowling fan, certainly this is the place to be. And we talk about it a lot on the broadcast about what's going on this year. For the first time in history, both championship tournaments being held in the same host city at the same time. The Open Championships over at the National Bowling Stadium for a record 11th time, and the Women's Championships gets this fantastic venue inside the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. This building hosted the Open Championships 3 times, 1977, 1984, and 1990. Then, of course, the creation of the National Bowling Stadium in 1995 is where both events have been held since, but the Women's Championships transitioned to the Convention Center setting in 2010. This is the 3rd build for the WC, and this is a great one. We'll be here for 2 years, back-to-back, 2013 and 14. 44 lanes, squad room, concessions, registration area, lockers. You name it, it's here, and it's all for the ladies.
It certainly is, Matt. Also a very nice vendor row with products and merchandise specifically put together for this event. And it really is just a fantastic venue. It's hard to believe. On February 18th, we started construction. This hall was nothing but a cement floor and a bunch of crates. In about 7 weeks, our good friend Greg Moore and his fantastic team put together this awesome bowling venue to make Reno the place to be if you're a bowler.
Well, Aaron, we've been doing this at the Open Championship since 1901. So we're getting the hang of this venue building situation. And the women have certainly enjoyed the opportunity to have this all to themselves. Again, 2010 in El Paso is where it all began. This year even better. But as we said, so much going on in Reno this week, this year. Both events, 3 side events happening over at the National Bowling Stadium as well. And plenty of opportunity for the women to bowl in both championship events and the side tournaments. Something for everybody, all kinds of divisions for all ages and skill levels. The 900 Global Showcase lanes over there as well, featuring both tournament lane conditions, so the women can head that way and get a team practice session on the championship pattern they're facing here at the convention center. And of course, also happening this week, the USBC convention. So a lot of delegates and industry folks in town as well. That all happening downtown. Nice to see some bowling fans coming out today as well on this Thursday afternoon now almost. The 11 a.m. team squad here at the Women's Championships. This event just a few weeks old so far. Still more than 22,000 women headed this way. Looking forward to an exciting run. I'm just the co-pilot here. Aaron Smith, the main man at the Women's Championships. I trusted to him. He knows the facts and figures and the history with his eyes closed even. He'll tell you all kinds of good facts and figures.
Eyes closed.
You don't have to look it up. You got all these papers looking fancy, but I know you know it all.
Appreciate the confidence, man.
I will rely on your expertise as this broadcast progresses, and of course we'll be back a number of times between now and the end of the tournament in July.
Including this upcoming Saturday. We'll be back to see USBC Hall of Famer Carolyn Dorn-Ballard and her Together Once Again team. We'll come out with, they'll be bowling alongside Jan Schmidt and Chili Crest Bowl. 2 very solid groups. Who have bowled together the past few years. That'll be 6 p.m. here in Reno, so that'll be 9 o'clock Eastern, Saturday, May 4th. Right here live at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. Right now on this Thursday, we're behind 27-8, watching Team Terrell-Kearney and Scratch 5, who works their way onto the broadcast. This group is out of Post Falls, Idaho, featuring Vicki Clem, who's up on lane 28 right now, Lori Velez, Carolyn Anderson, Julie Radobenko, and Arlene Wendell. This team's coming in at a 707 entering average, which puts them in the Sapphire division. The Women's Championships, of course, has 3 divisions this year. Diamond is the highest average of the divisions, followed by Ruby, and finally Sapphire. Team Terrell-Kearney, there we go, finds themselves at the very top end of the Diamond division, coming in at a 1090 with handicap based off 100% of 220 for Diamond. They will only receive 10 pins a game, so 30 pins total for their set. Of course, the scores you see on the scoreboard are all scratch scores, so when it's all said and done, each team game will have 10 additional pins put on top to determine their final standings for the Diamond division.
Well, certainly, Aaron, as we progress through this broadcast, we'll be able to talk about all the current features of the USBC Women's Championships and the many changes coming up in 2014. We'll have all that and more during the next 3 games. A lot of exciting things happening at this event. But again, as you mentioned, this year, Diamond, Sapphire, and Ruby in an all handicap format. And then extra prizes awarded to overall high scratch score. So this venue certainly takes on a championship feel. Banners hanging from the rafters, recognizing last year's champions in every category. And no doubt, these ladies in front of us right now trying to get their names back in the rafters. And they are Hall of Famers because, well, they can do it.
Absolutely. The accolades for Kim and Leanne are almost endless. We'll be sure to get into those as the as our broadcast here progresses.
And little Barrett Hulsenberg, Leanne's youngster, watching in person. We were going to feature Leanne when she was at the Open Championships, and that was the same day and times as Lodge Lanes 2. And Lodge Lanes rolled the highest team score in Open Championships history on the way into the lead, of course. And we showed their doubles and singles the next day. We didn't want to sell anybody out, unfortunately, and Leanne was nearby, but did not make it on the broadcast. Barrett was at home tuning in, hoping to see Mom on Gold TV. And now he's here in person, so even better. So Barrett, welcome. Gary Hulsenberg as well. See if Mom can put on a show. Starts with a spare and a double. All right, question in the chat room about X Bowling and how that works with the Women's Championships. Well, it's real simple. If you're online right now, if you go to xbowling.com, it'll take you to a menu screen, and you'll simply be able to choose the Women's Championships. Just click on that, and it will take you to the home page for the Women's Championships X Bowling, and you'll see you can get live scores, statistics, leaderboards, all kinds of goodies. You can enter the 90-frame X game for your chance to win $50,000 if you strike in the right frames. But if you're just trying to follow along on the scoreboards from home, live scoring, just click on that option, and it will bring up the menu where you can search by bowler name or by lane number, and it will tell you who's on that lane. Just click on it, and it will tell you their score frame by frame, tell you what pins they left. It's actually pretty neat. We use that a lot when we're at the Open Championships. If we're live streaming on one side of the venue and something's happening now we need to check out on the other side, we can pull up X Bowling on the computer or on the iPhone or Android device. There's a free X Bowling Tournament Edition app. Just download that. It has the very same features. And I even had the chance to check in on the Women's Championships while we were live streaming at the Open Championships just the other day. So very cool. Certainly encourage you to check that out. And while you're there, if you click on the Open Championships menu at this time, you see how Terrell Owens is doing in doubles and singles over at the Open Championships. The former NFL star made his debut on the tournament lanes last night. Shot 475 in the team event. He's over there right now with PBA Commissioner Tom Clark, trying to get it done in doubles and singles. They're on lanes 7 and 8 at the National Bowling Stadium, so check that out. Very cool feature. I think we might do that as well while we're here, watching these talented ladies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tio adapts to the shorter doubles and singles pattern. Right now we're watching Leanne Hulsenberg go for 3 in a row.
If you're curious about what these ladies are bowling on here at the Women's Championships, you can go to bowl.com, find the Women's Championships page in the menu at the top, Tournaments, Women's Championships, and you can go to the lane conditions information box, and it has a graph of this year's oil pattern. 40 feet is the length. And if you're coming to town and you want to practice on that, you can schedule yourself a session at the 900 Global Showcase lanes over at the ground floor at the National Bowling Stadium for $100. You and up to 9 teammates can practice for 1 hour on the lane condition you'll be facing here at the Women's Championships. You can get together, talk about strategy, game plan, get your equipment set so you can have your best performance at the Women's Championships. So certainly take advantage of that opportunity to get a tune-up. And for a few dollars extra, you get the expert advice of USBC Silver Coach Matt McNeil. And he'll help your whole team get the equipment ready and get your mind and game plan right.
We watched Matt McNeil last night come in and defend his regular doubles and all events title. And although he fell short of both of those, he made a spectacular run at the singles lead. Ended up falling 2 pins short with a 787. We had USBC Hall of Famer Jeff Riggles in the booth with us yesterday and talked about just Matt's incredible run these past few years, and since 2010 he's basically owned the event, if you will. But Leanne Hulsenberg has also had a pretty impressive run here at the Women's Championships. She had a 3-year stretch between 2005 and 2007 where basically just chalked her in the top 5 for every event. Leanne is a 5-time titleist here at the Women's Championships. Her first title came in 1987. She won the Classic All Events title with a 1972 score. And then 2005 was really, like I said, 2005, 2006, 2007 was a great run. She won 4 titles in that span, but 2005 was the kickoff for that. She not only won the singles title with a 774, she added 784 in doubles and 673 in team to capture her second Classic All Events title with a 2231, which was a record at the time. It still sits second in tournament history behind Jody Westner's 2330.
But that was something to watch, huh?
It was pretty fantastic. It was that was actually that was my very first live streaming experience. We were actually watching, myself and Lucas Wiseman, who's in town, and we'll be hearing from him quite a bit this week. But Jody's performance was on 1 and 2 at the El Paso Convention Center. We were watching Clara Guerrero and Jennifer Larson, excuse me, defend their Classic doubles title, and that was all the way on the very high end of the house. And Jody was on 1 and 2, quietly shooting 816 for doubles. I don't know if you can quietly shoot 816, but now you wouldn't have known it unless you saw the strikes up there. Very cool, calm, and collected performance, and she just kept motoring on and ended up with that big score. But to get back to Leanne, in 2005 with her 2 titles, she also placed 3rd in doubles with Lauren, and the team finished 6th. She came back in 2006 to claim the classic doubles title with Lauren, once again a 1466 total. She ended up 3rd in singles that year, 6th in all events, and 10th in team. So for a 2-year stretch, she was not outside the top 10 in any event, which is a pretty remarkable stat. And then to top it off, in the next year, she finished off the Grand Slam of the Women's Championships, if you will. Captured the Classic Team Champions with Ebonite Bowler's Map with a 32-10 total, and Leanne paced the way with an 804 series, the 2nd in Women's Championships history, of games of 288, 248, and 268 for an 804. She also finished 2nd in all events that year to Wendy McPherson, another USBC Hall of Famer. So just a fantastic 3-year run there. Of course, the first 800 in tournament history was shot by Kendra Gaines out of Florida. She shot 812 during her team event in 2000. But quite a stretch there, Matt. That's, like I said, we talked about McNeil's run at the Open for these past 3 and 4 years now. That's quite comparable for Leanne. She converts the 2-5 there.
Well, I mean, you can go way back with Leanne as far as what she's accomplished in her day. I believe she had more than 100 TV appearances in her professional career as well, and just tons of titles all over. And that's how you get in Hall of Fame. Obviously, you win things, and she's done that. A great representative for the sport. Now a coach and a mother, and just still involved in the game. Just won the U.S. Women's Open a couple of years ago, so she still got it.
Absolutely. That was at Cowboy Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, right, Matt?
No doubt a one-of-a-kind experience to be able to bowl in a venue like that. And to come through, and some really cool pictures from that event in Bowler's Journal magazine. You know, with her and her son being able to share that, her husband Gary on site as well. You know, especially after the closing of the doors at the professional women's tour, and you know, all the ladies having to go in different directions and find, you know, other jobs, I guess, and something they hadn't planned on, and but still a few major events for them, and to see her, you know, come back and find success was kind of similar to seeing Parker Bone and his success, you know, this year at the World Series of Bowling, and you know, out on tour, and just nice to see the classic players still out there doing well, and hopefully maybe they'll put on a show for us here today. You know, I get the opportunity to see Kim Terrell-Kearney often. She works at the ITRC International Training and Research Center at the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. So just a short walk downstairs. She actually helps me with my game quite a bit, and certainly I need help. But she's also an assistant coach with Team USA, part of the coaching program there at the ITRC. So still very involved at various levels of the game, and still competes from time to time. She did bowl with us last year at the Open Championships. And of course, here she is on the biggest stage in women's bowling right now. And she also took home the title at the U.S. Women's Open not too long ago. 2008, 7?
2008.
2008 in Romeoville, Illinois.
That was her second U.S. Women's Open champion, or title, I should say. She also won the 2001 edition, as well as the 2002 Queens. So Kim certainly knows about showing up on the big stage, and she also owns a title here at the Women's Championship. She was part of that 2007 Classic team that took home the title. Once again, that we're seeing 4 out of the 5 members of that team. As we mentioned earlier, this is Callan's first year, from what we could find. And the 5th member of that team was Team USA member Shannon Pluhowski, who will be competing at the Women's Championships later here in May.
Well, Aaron, as I said, nice to see some folks come out. All right, Aaron, nice crowd on hand, on site and online, so we do appreciate it. You're watching the team event here at the 2013 USBC Women's Championships, and our first online look at this great venue inside the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. And these two Hall of Famers, Kim Terrell-Kearney and Leanne Hulsenberg, probably headed to the same place we are later today, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where they'll be joined in the Hall of Fame by a handful of talented players, of course, including Linda Barnes. So looking forward to that. You can catch that on bull.com later tonight.
And you'll be seeing Linda Barnes later on here at the Women's Championships as well. She'll be one of our feature live streams later in June, crossing with 2010 Scratch and Diamond All Events champion Jody Wester, Missy Parkin, and a very talented group, so we'll be looking forward to that.
All right, Aaron, so we already mentioned the current format at the Women's Championships. 3 handicap divisions, Diamond, Ruby, and Sapphire. Things are going to change a little bit next year. In 2014, we'll be back in the very same venue, the same opportunity for the women to bowl both the Open and Women's Championships in one trip to Reno. But the format is going to change a little bit. So I'll let you tell the world a little bit about all of that and then we'll tell them how to register.
Sounds like a plan, Matt. Once again, some big changes coming to the Women's Championships in 2014. First and foremost, this will be the last time we see 5-player teams. We switch it to 4-player next year. And the division structure is going to change. The handicap is going to change, so we'll get right into that. We're first going to move to 4 divisions in the team event compared to the 3 we have now. Diamond, Ruby, and Sapphire will still be the division names, but we're going to add an Emerald division as well to make the divisions a little bit tighter. And then in doubles, singles, and all events, we're actually doubling the amount of divisions, going from 3 to 6. Those don't have the fun names, but just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And all events will be scratch starting in 2014.
So going back to the familiar scratch format, but more divisions. So all the bowlers here going closer to the bowlers of their caliber. Handicap didn't quite catch on, I suppose. So going back to the traditional route. So looking forward to those changes, and I know a lot of feedback about the 4-player teams. City and state tournaments have gone to that format recently, and it's only fitting to follow that here at the national level, and a lot of teams excited. Often it's hard to find that 6th bowler. If you travel with a team of 5, somebody's going to be the odd person out. It's never fun nor fair. So with 4 players, very easy to travel, to room together, and to pair up for doubles. So a lot of positive reviews moving forward, and you can register now for 2014. It's already out there. Go to bowl.com, find the Women's Championships page, and either in the top module or in the Register Now information box. Just click on that, and it will give you all of the details that we just went over. Some frequently asked questions, all about the new structure and the plans for 2014, and then online registration, convenient and easy, very quick, simple process. You can select your squad times online. Keep in mind, new squad times for 2014 just unveiled as well on that page, so check that out. And some great incentives if you sign up early and pay in full by July 1st for the Women's or Open Championships. Every bowler on the team will receive $20 in championships cash. All you gotta do is pay early. That is it. $20 back when you check in Reno next year. You can use that $20 towards brackets at the USBC Sports Store, Bowling Ball Express, you name it, on site. It's yours. $20 free. And if you're a team coordinator, we do appreciate your hard work. I believe the number is 6 teams at the Women's and 8 at the Open Championships. You earn yourself a complimentary VIP package. All kinds of goodies in there. Complimentary locker seems to be one of the most popular items, believe it or not. And a 1-hour lesson with a USBC certified coach on the 900 Global Showcase lanes, also popular. I've actually been told on a number of occasions, though, the ability to go in and out of the lockers, very convenient, especially with all the side events and things happening at the National Bowling Stadium. Along with the lesson and, of course, team event double singles. It saves quite a bit of money being able to store your stuff and in and out as you please. Get yourself a VIP polo. Discounts on photos, Bowling Ball Express, you name it. All kinds of great features, so check that out. Bowl.com/VIP, and 2 different programs for each tournament. It's complimentary if you're a team coordinator for 2014, so a lot of great incentives, a lot of great reasons to join us in Reno next year.
One of the special incentives for here at the Women's Championships that's different from the Open is a complimentary wine tasting as well. So gives your team a chance to go out and have a little fun.
Certainly, Aaron, especially at the Women's Championships, that's what it's all about. When you get out there and have a good time, it's a reunion, travel a little bit, meet up with some old friends, get out on the town, see what Reno has to offer.
Certainly so, and talk about the good time, and you can certainly feel the atmosphere from here to the Open being quite different. It was, I'm not sure if our cameras caught it when we had to march out, but you know, a lot of ladies were dancing coming down. The staff was dancing a little bit too, having fun with the ladies as they marched out to their respective lanes. And it's just it's a whole different experience here at the Women's Championships.
This event very festive, and camaraderie seems to be the key feature here. Almost everybody here on this team event dressed alike, and we'll often see some crazy costumes and outfits, and we see the dancing M&Ms, 5 bowlers, 5 different color M&Ms as their team uniform, and of course the ever popular and coveted Pride Award on the line. If you guys dress alike, take pride in your appearance, dress for success, as we say, we've got a Pride Award for you. As long as nobody's wearing jeans, you guys look like a team, you're not going home empty-handed from the Women's Championship. So that certainly is the theme here today. I know I've heard some good stories about all the crazy costumes sometimes here, and looking forward to that. I haven't spent much time at this event over the years, always get to manage it from afar. But here it is in my backyard in 2013 and 14, so looking forward to some of those crazy days that Aaron has told me about.
One of the groups we always look forward to, the Zodiacs out of New Orleans, who have been coming here to the Women's Championships for getting close to 50 years now. Their senior member is quickly approaching her 50th tournament, and a few others are in the 40s, and they always put on a show. I've seen a few pictures from back in the late 60s and early 70s that they were actually in full-length gowns coming out here and competing on the lanes, and each of their costumes is handmade every year. So, and they always have a theme. A few years ago when the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl, the whole team was based off of that and had different players on each costume. And it's always an exciting time when they're around. And I've actually been in contact with one of the ladies in that group, Linda Bertini. She says she's looking forward to spend some time at the Open as well this year. So,
all right, branching out. The Zodiacs are going global.
They're actually bringing a team to bowl the Open as well. So, I think Linda said she planned on stopping by to watch the guys bowl over at the Open after they finish up here at the Women's. Of course, that's just a few-mile trek north from where we're at right now. Reno-Sparks Convention Center.
We'll say this is a very convenient town. Just, as you said, 3 or so miles between the two venues, and so many great things in between. Certainly, we have found plenty to do in our free time. And very cool to have both events so close together and be able to come out and watch bowlers like Lauren Takahashi strike it up here at the Women's Championships. That's a name that I've seen a lot in the record books, and now to be here in person, very cool. So I said many times in my years at USBC that if there ever was a women's tour again, I think I would like to be the PR guy for that organization, just because spending time around all these ladies, just so easy to work with them. And it's so nice that they appreciate everything as far as what we do and the coverage and being able to get the word out about women's bowling. And that goes back to the Women's Challenge back in 2006, a unique event that brought us to a one-lane venue, I guess, inside of a shopping mall in Las Vegas, with the women on center stage. And very neat event. Got to see some of the best women bowlers in history, really, brought back together 3 years after the end of the women's tour, and I don't want to say on display, but showcased inside that mall in Las Vegas, and that was aired on ESPN over 5 broadcasts.
I remember that very well. I believe Cara Honeychurch came back to bowling to take down that title.
All the way from Australia, out of retirement by special request.
She did not disappoint. We're in the 9th frame right now, game number 1 here. Leanne is unable to convert that washout.
Time certainly flies, Aaron. Feels like we were just setting up for our first broadcast of this quadruple header last night, 7 p.m. Terrell Owens, former NFL star, made his USBC Open Championships debut at the National Bowling Stadium. And then 3-time Open Championships titleist Matt McNeil hit the lanes, trying to get back on top of the leaderboard, came up 2 pins short. Those 2 broadcasts available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bowltv. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and you'll get all the updates and alerts when it's time to go live again. Many broadcasts scheduled from around the world, even, including this one from the USBC Women's Championship. So we'll be here a handful of times between now and July, bringing you the action from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. More than 24 broadcast schedules from Reno alone this year. Lucas Wiseman always on the road at other events, so check out bowl.com/livestream for everything coming up. Don't miss out. Right now we're checking out xbowling.com tournament edition. See how Terrell Owens is doing over at the Open Championships. Bowling doubles and singles right now on lane 8. So if you're curious, check it out, xbowling.com. So Aaron, next year as well, we didn't mention it earlier, but in 2014, the USBC Queens returns to the host city. It'll be held at the National Bowling Stadium late next June. So really, these top competitors, these women will have the opportunity to come to Reno, bowl in the Open Championships, the Women's Championships, the USBC Queens, or Senior Queens. And then while they're there, there's the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships inside the National Bowling Stadium. The Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza, a 3-game Baker event, or 3-person Baker event taking place downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase lanes. There's a 2-game challenge. Practice sessions are available.
That's a lot of bowling.
So if you're a competitive woman, you don't even need to bring an extra pair of shoes. Just bring your bowling shoes. And you won't need to take them off. Just come and spend a week or two in June and have your shot at all kinds of formats and prize money.
It is a little different this year at the Women's Championships. In the past, at least since I've been involved, we've had either the Queens or the U.S. Women's Open linked into the tournament. That's not the case this year. Many of the ladies would use the Women's Championships as kind of a tune-up to prepare for that, and so it was usually a chaotic week of bowling with everybody in town at the same time. Similar to days like this, it was usually about 16 or 17 hours at the bowling stadium, where the El Paso Convention Center, or the On Center in Syracuse, even though I technically wasn't there. But yeah, a lot of long days with every squad having the potential for a record score. But this year, everything's a little bit spread out. So we'll be able to bring plenty of live action here from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center, and have it spread out over the course of the entire tournament. This being, of course, just the first of several trips to the RSCC. Right now we're watching Terrell-Kearney try to clean up a 4-pin here in her 10th frame. For a 195. Callan Washburn finished game 1 with 177. Lauren Takahashi, 162. Sandra Terrell, 175. So probably not the start they were looking to have here, game number 1. As Leanne strikes on her first offering in the 10th frame. Finishes out for a 211, giving Team Terrell-Kearney a 920 start. course, we mentioned the handicap earlier. Team Terrell-Kearney came in at a 1090 for the Diamond Division. The top of that division is a 1100, so handicap being 100%, they receive 10 pins a game, so their score with handicap would be 930. Things we see often here at the Women's Championships. Many of the groups that bring more than one team actually prefer to be separated from their groups in order to bowl with a new group of girls and make some new friends out in the lane. And a lot of times you'll see folks exchanging gifts from their home state or county, so it's something unique. Obviously at the Open, often see teams wanting to cross together. I believe Team Terrell-Kearney didn't bring a crossing team this year, so they're getting to enjoy bowling with Scratch 5 out of Post Falls, Idaho.
So game 2 of 3. Time flies. Not a bad start for these talented young ladies.
I was going to say, just kind of watching, it seems like at the Open we hear so much about playing the lanes together, and it seems like these girls are kind of playing their strengths here. The Women's Championships pattern a little bit easier than what you would see at the Open, allowing a few more angles to be played. And Leanne, furthest left of the team, and looks like she's using a Roto-Grip Defiant Soul. We're a bit a ways from the actual pair here in the grandstand seating at the RSCC, but very distinctive logos and colors on that ball, so hopefully I'm right. I've been wrong before, so I'm sure it might happen again. Looks like Callan made a ball change to move left as well. Hopefully they're communicating and talking about what they're seeing out there and lead to a barrage of strikes for everybody tuning in today. Shot by Sandra there, opening with an early double.
All right, Aaron, it seems the pace of play here a little bit slower than we're used to over at the Open Championships, of course. A few less lanes going, just 44 lanes in this spectacular venue at the Convention Center. And not the urgency of the front 7 or front 8 on this lane, that lane. You know, a little bit different. Only 19 perfect games in the history of the Women's Championships.
Still looking for that first one at the 2013 event.
It was 4 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
4 was the number.
So always a couple. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, the very first Convention Center build in 2010, a record year. Some pretty sizable scores that year. Very exciting, no doubt, to be there, to be a part of that history. You know, on the lanes and the lanes in general, just being there, built for the first time. And that opportunity has only grown for the Women's Championships.
2010 was certainly an exciting year. Obviously, as you stated, the introduction of the convention center setting and these fantastic scoreboards we see as well. That year also featured the USBC Queens as well as the Intercollegiate Team Championships. So we had everything going on in El Paso. That was an exciting time, and like you mentioned, some of the scores were out of this world as well. We saw the highest team series in tournament history shot by Bowler's Choice Pro Shop 2 out of Tonawanda, New York, with a 34-24 score. That very talented group featured Liz Johnson, who's done just about everything you can do in a bowling alley. She's won just about everything, so no surprise there. We talked about Jody Wessner earlier. She tied the highest series in tournament history with 816, which Michelle Feldman shot a year before, on her way to a 23-30 all events total. Also the highest in tournament history. We talked about the 4 300s. Betty Brooks kicked it off this past year. She was actually a titleist in 2010. She won Ruby all events. Just came back and rolled the first perfect game of the 2013 event. I also believe that was the first of her career. So that was a very exciting time. Karen Evans rolled one. That actually helped her tie the highest doubles game, along with Melanie DiCarlo, with 558. That was pretty exciting. Pam Pancoast. Pam had to step into game 3 of singles. Pam needed exactly 300 to take the scratch singles title, 779, and by golly, she threw all 12 in that final game. That score ended up being enough to win the scratch singles title by a pin, 779. That was a pretty impressive set to watch. She didn't miss for a long time there. She struck on 27 out of her last 28 shots. And I believe her one miss in there was a pocket 710, so easily could have gone the other way. Could have been our lone 800 of the year if that would have gone a little differently, but certainly an impressive performance by Pam, and she's got a banner hanging up here this year. The final one of the 2012 event, Kristen Warzinski out of Fort Worth, Texas. Added her name to the record books. So certainly an exciting year last year in Reno, and we're hoping to see much more of that here in 2013.
Well, Aaron, we're certainly getting a good look at this fantastic venue, and our first of, I believe, a half dozen broadcasts from the Women's Championships this year. Up on the right lane right now, USBC Hall of Famer Leanne Hulsenberg. Started the day in the 220s.
Not quite that high match. She was actually 211.
So a very talented team here. These women here to enjoy some of the festivities happening in Reno this week. USBC Convention, Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and some good old competition. And some Jamba Juice.
I saw that up there as well.
Aaron, a lot of smiles here at the Women's Championships, regardless of what's on the scoreboard. I think that's one of the things that's great about this event. it's about more than bowling.
It certainly is, Matt. Remember back in 2010 when I was hanging out in El Paso all by myself. That I don't know, one of the blogs I wrote, I kind of compared all the tournaments I had visited over the time, because throughout all this I've got a chance to do a few youth events, a few senior events, a little time at the Open, a little time here, a little time there. And this tournament is just so unique in just how the ladies approach it. It's I think one of the things I wrote about in that one was to watch the lady bowl her entire set. I don't recall if it was team doubles or singles, but she didn't have a single strike the entire time. And she's stepping up in the 10th frame of the third game, and her first shot, she just absolutely labels it. All 10 go down, and she starts dancing, and the whole group is dancing, and it was just an unbelievable thing to see, because when you think of how that kind of performance would affect a bowler at maybe the Open or a collegiate event, I'm guessing that would not be the reaction. It's a fun-loving event. The ladies are out here to have a good time, and I think it's more about the experience than the strikes and spares up on the scoreboard sometimes.
Well, Aaron, it's obvious that you know, as we get older, some of us already older, you forget what the scores are. Some scores you'd like to forget already. But as the years pass, you know, you forget the scores, the money gets spent. And as we talk to a lot of our longevity bowlers, longtime participants, you know, they have great memories. They don't necessarily remember the scores or when they happened or where, but they all have great stories from different places in their careers. And we'll actually have two 50-year bowlers at the Open Championships this week. We're looking forward to hearing their stories. They've been with us through the evolution of the event, and we'll actually have one at this event as well this year. One 50-year participant, as well as Minnie Tavaska, who will be bowling for the
67th consecutive year.
So, and for many bowlers, they'll come out here, and it may not be about winning. They may not, you know, have a legitimate chance at a title or loads of prize money. But so they chase down other milestones and awards, and of course, Minnie, the participation leader at this event, and doesn't show any signs of stopping anytime soon.
No, she's a spark plug, Matt. It's she's out of St. Petersburg, Florida area, and one of their local news stations actually did a little write-up on her, had a video as well, and Minnie looked as ready as ever to come out here to Reno and put number 67 in the books and just keep adding on to her record.
Well, and another name that comes up, of course, in your history here, outside of all the great champions that we're watching right now, the Hall of Famers, and you know, all the potential big scores, there's great human interest stories, and one lady that you had the opportunity to meet in 2009, Emma Hendrickson, when she competed in her 50th tournament at age 100, and she went on to bowl 2 more years and finished up her career at age 102 in Syracuse in 2011. And you know, she again didn't roll a 300 game. She didn't win a title, but she was on ESPN top plays.
She was. I still have that video saved on my prehistoric phone here, but that was easily one of the highlights of my time here at the Women's Championships. The very first year, this tournament had never seen a competitor reach triple digits, and then just the timing of everything worked out so great. Emma was always a pleasure. Her and her whole entourage were just great to work with, and yeah, we lucked out. We got I remember hearing Emma's day for that she was bowling the late team event. She came in early after going out to Virginia City to go and see some of the sights and have a good time with the team, and rolled into the stadium a little bit early. We had one of the local news stations come out, and we had a full day at the women's, so we couldn't get her on the actual National Bowling Stadium lane. So lane 81 was open at the time in the pro shop, and we got Emma on there to throw a few balls, to take a few photos, take a few videos, and she struck on one of them, and there was a fist bump with tournament manager Eric Pearson, our good friend, and that just kind of steamrolled into ESPN top 10 plays and appearance on Regis and Kelly, which Regis actually started challenging her to a match, and they ended up meeting up in New York, and it was kind of a roller coaster ride after that for Emma. She was basically a celebrity everywhere she went, and certainly well deserved. She had been involved in the game long before starting up here at the Women's Championship. She actually helped start up the youth program in Morris Plains, New Jersey, her hometown, and actually has a scholarship named after her as well. So Emma was certainly loved and appreciated back home, and we love seeing her come out every year. And now we got Minnie as well, and it's always a highlight day for the tournament. See smiles get a little bit bigger all around, and we'll certainly be looking forward to May 21st when Minnie arrives.
Well, Aaron, I think a good mix of participants here at the Women's Championships. We have Hall of Famers in front of us, and we have bowlers like Minnie and Emma, and just our dedicated year after year participants, so we know they're going to be here and enjoy the event no matter where we go or what the format is. They're here to have the reunion, and it's great to be a part of that and to see some great bowling every now and then, and hopefully we'll see a little bit here before we're done here. But if you're just joining us, thank you very much for being here on this Thursday afternoon. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith, live from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center, 2013 USBC Women's Championships. Our first look inside this great venue. Has some great bowlers on the lanes. 44 lanes. And the world's largest mobile scoreboard of its kind, unveiled in 2009 at the USBC Open Championships in Las Vegas. A spectacular thing to see, and the capabilities are pretty cool as well.
And you mentioned something about a place called Las Vegas, Matt? Is that?
I did indeed. Big news.
Is there something about that place that we should know about?
Big news for USBC this week. We already have a fantastic agreement with Reno to bring both the Open and Women's Championships back a handful of times between now and 2030. And the city ever changing, upgrading, $15 million in upgrades coming to the National Bowling Stadium here in Reno. So looking forward to some of those changes. The 900 Global Showcase lanes, the first phase of those renovations, but announced just a couple days ago. South Point Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, and USBC have agreed to a 12-year deal that will bring a handful of USBC Open and Women's Championships to Sin City. They'll be contested in a brand new $30 million bowling arena on South Point property. The Women's Championships will head to Las Vegas in 2016, 2020, and 2022, while the Open Championships heads there in 17, 19, 21, and 23. So for those folks who like the glitz and glamour of the big city there in Las Vegas, we're headed back, and the numbers certainly show that. Our last trip there in 2009 for the Open Championships, a near record, 17,200 teams. So looking forward to some good times in Las Vegas and some additional years in Reno as well. Our home away from home. I actually think I might like Reno a little bit better. It's a little quieter, easier to get around, very convenient, everything downtown or just a couple miles away.
It surely is the biggest little city in the world.
Certainly, and a few other cities mixed in there as well. We don't want to leave those out. For the Open Championships, we're headed to Syracuse in 2018 and back to Baton Rouge in 2025, and the Women's Championships will head to Baton Rouge in 2017, then to Mobile, Alabama in 2019. No, Wichita in 2019, Mobile in 2021. There you go. You can find all that and more on bowl.com. Certainly details on the Las Vegas agreement as well, and a chart about all the upcoming Open and Women's Championships all the way through 2025. So check that out on bowl.com. That's where you can find all of the news and notes, scores, pictures, blogs, information, registration, you name it, it's there. Each of our events has its own page on bowl.com. Kim Terrell-Kearney, her picture is on bowl.com. She's a USBC Hall of Famer because she throws shots like that.
Great shot by Kim there.
Leanne Hulsenberg, formerly Leanne Barrett. Dozens of titles professionally. Handful here at the Women's Championships. Working on a double, looking for 3 in a row here.
That one goes a little high, leaving the baby split. But yeah, talking about Las Vegas, the last time the Women's Championships visited our Southern Nevada friend was 1983, held at the Showboat Lanes. Saw 14,430 teams make it out, which was, I believe, a record for both tournaments at the time. It was the first time the Women's Championships cracked 10,000 teams, and by quite a large margin. So we know the ladies have been talking about it, been looking forward to hoping to get back to Vegas. So 2016, you'll have the ladies will have the first chance to really get out there and experience the new venue at South Point as far as the USBC Championship tournaments are concerned.
Aaron, this is our third live stream broadcast in less than 24 hours. And if you missed any of the action last night or earlier today, you find all that on Bowl TV. Go to youtube.com/Bowl TV. Find all kinds of goodies. Matt Lawson, always hard at work, putting up some great videos. Just put up one about the Women's Championships VIP program. And we'll have a story to accompany that as well very soon. It's new at the Women's Championships this year, VIP package. A lot of great features. Check that out at bowl.com/VIP. Come hang out with Aaron at the Women's Championships or spend the afternoon in the VIP lounge. Or come out now. Hang out with USBC Hall of Famers Kim Terrell-Kearney and Leanne Hulsenberg. Tournament champion Lauren Takahashi. Kaylee Washburn. And Sandra Terrell. It's Kim's sister. Alrighty. And if you're a fan of the Scratch 5, well, here they are, live on Bowl TV. Get the word out, get on Twitter, get on Facebook.
All you folks out of Post Falls, Idaho.
It's big news
Front and
coming to
center.
Idaho. That's right. Scratch 5. Live on Bowl TV. Tell everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will not miss it. Next time, your favorite team is on Bowl TV.
If your favorite team happens to include USBC Hall of Famer Carolyn Doran Ballard, be sure to tune in Saturday, as we'll be right back here at 9 p.m. Eastern to watch Together Once Again, which features a very talented group. Obviously, Carolyn Doran Ballard, already mentioned. Her sister, Kathy Doran Lizzie. Leslie Bone, wife of PBA and USBC Hall of Famer Parker Bone III. Marcia Klumpkin, who is Marsha Klumpkin, excuse me, who's actually going to be bowling the Open Championships tonight, along with her husband Steve and a very talented group who will probably make a run at the leaderboard. And Tammy Turner.
So, Aaron, this is our 13th live stream broadcast already
My goodness.
from Reno here in 2013. The first of 7 from the USBC Women's Championships. Very convenient. We just backed up to gear, threw it in the Honda. Well, something like that. We got it in the Honda, got it over here, a couple miles away, and here we are, live from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. As you mentioned, next up from the Women's Championships, CDB and her teams. That is Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. But there's one more in between. Competition-wise, Chad Nelson and Dan Bach, two familiar names at the Open Championships, always on the radar. But they'll be making their first appearance on the live stream. That is tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Chad Nelson, Dan Bach. Those guys always contenders. And often just outside of the spotlight, but it'll be on them. They were at the National Bowling Stadium last night watching fellow Minnesota bowler Matt McNeil strike away. And the rest of the schedule coming up. Later this month, the USBC Hall of Famer Jeff Riggles. And he'll accompany Open Championships average leader Gail Myers Jr. onto the lanes. May 21st, we're back here at the RSCC. Defending Diamond All Events champion, Joey Biondo. Another great bowler. Back-to-back titles for her. All Events last year. Diamond Team in 2011. So, again, not one of the names you might recognize from TV, but a very talented young lady, former Team USA member, and always a contender as well. Just chose not to chase the dream on the big stage, at least as of late. And May 23rd, Aaron's favorite guy in the whole world, Kenny Parks, PBA 50 stars, Kenny Parks and Bob Lerner Jr. So again, very diverse coverage at the Open and Women's Championships. Some Hall of Famers, some classic bowlers as we call them. We don't want to call them old. Some young, talented players as we saw with John Drabinski and Jesse Buss not too long ago. But the live stream schedule available on bowl.com. I don't want to bore you down with the details right now, but check that out. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and you won't miss any of our broadcasts for the rest of the year. Another 12 on the schedule officially, but you never know when something's going to pop up, like last night when Terrell Owens came to visit. Former NFL star. Had almost 2,000 people watching early on at one time. So we'll see what kind of other celebrities or standouts we can find along the way.
You just never know out here in Reno. One thing we do know right now, Terrell-Kearney is going to go up in 27. He's looking to get a three-bagger here. Set up for 8th frame.
So Aaron, there's a question in the chat room about some of our host cities. Why are we waiting so long to go back to Baton Rouge? Well, again, we have a long-standing contract with Reno and now one with Las Vegas as well. But certainly we'd like to return to some of our favorite places, and Baton Rouge just happened to work out with the open cities or open years. And we got them back on the schedule for both events. Had a great time there last year in 2012. Amazing people, amazing food, and New Orleans not too far away. So a lot to do in Baton Rouge and nearby. So just trying to mix it up a little bit and still go back and see some of our favorite places. Plenty of things to do and see in all of these cities off the lanes. Had a gentleman approach me yesterday, told me that we could hold the Open Championships at the bottom of the ocean, and he would go, because for him it's about the competition to bowl on the biggest stage against the top bowlers in the world.
His dedication is certainly there.
Dedication to be a part of the event, no matter what. He's there for the chance at the eagle, the glory.
Just not sure how well the new Kegel oils will hold up at the bottom of the ocean, though.
Well, when somebody says the lanes are flooded, they won't be lying. But great to hear that we have a dedicated following that will follow us to the depths of the ocean and back.
Fast 8s for Vicky and Arlene of scratch 5. So Arlene is able to hold on for the spare there. See if Vicky can clean up hers.
Aaron, I will say that if I was going to put together a top 10 of my favorite female bowlers of all time, as bowlers and people, I think Leanne and Kim right at the top of that list. I've had the opportunity to spend some time with both on and off the lanes and coaching wise. And when Gary and Leanne are in town, we usually catch up for a little bit. And I think one of the coolest experiences of my professional career is in 2009. I know this is going to sound kind of hokey, but got a birthday card in the mail from Leanne and Gary, and how cool is that? I mean, you watch these folks grow up, or while you're growing up, you watch them on TV, and they're the best at the sport that you love, and you look up to them, and all of a sudden, they're your friends. You're getting birthday cards and text messages, and it's hard not to get starstruck in the job that we do.
I couldn't agree more. It's you slowly get used to it, but I mean, last night just having Jeff Riggles pop in and USBC Hall of Famer, and kind of like it was nothing. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, I think I was more impressed with the day that Carol Giannotti, Wendy McPherson, Gina Darashevsky, and Maxine Nabel walked into my office in Albuquerque. Way more impressed that day. And no offense to anybody else, but comparatively to Terrell Owens coming to the Open Championships. You know, I mean, we didn't grow up, obviously. If you look at both of us, we're certainly not football players by any means. We certainly picked the appropriate sport for our physical conditioning. And these are the folks that we looked up to, Kim and Leanne and Carol and Linda Barnes. Saw her last night. That's always cool, getting to visit with those folks. I mean, of course, nice to meet Terrell as well, but a little bit different. So thought I'd put that out there. Every day an opportunity to meet and greet. I know Jason Couch going into the USBC Hall of Fame tonight. Looking forward to seeing him. Fellow left-hander, fellow University of Florida Gator fan. Had the opportunity to bowl against him back in Florida many times. Got the chance to write his life story, so to speak, for the 50 greatest players in PBA history, that book. Got to talk to him, Parker Bone, Tommy Jones. All gentlemen I've, again, bowled against, or have known on and off the lanes. And very cool to be a part of that also.
I keep that book in my desk at all times, man.
If you need me to autograph it, let me know. The compilation, I know when Bowlers Journal Group put that book together, they solicited the assistance of bowling writers from around the world. And very proud to be a part of that and to tell the stories of some of the sport's greatest. And hoping to write a story about Kim and Leanne here. I'd like to see one of them throw 12 strikes in a row in Game 3 coming up in just a few minutes.
Definitely seen a few more strikes this game out of the bunch. At least early on, and it cooled off a little bit here in the last 2 frames, but it would be exciting. Our cameras have been pretty lucky so far this year, as far as bringing some excitement to all of you out there in the interweb land. So who knows what Game 3 holds in store. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'd like to say hello to a friend of mine checking in, Kevin Michalowski, out of Hebron, Indiana. He's texting me. He's a big fan of Leanne's, always has been, and always enjoys the opportunity to watch her bowl. So Kevin, thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you're working so hard.
We do have a score update from Terrell Owens at the Open Championships. I know Aaron Smith on the edge of his seat to see if Terrell's going to beat his all-event score. We're not going to say what it is. If you want to find that at, go to bowl.com, Open Championships page. Individual
like
results.
To be fair, no one wants to
Aaron
do that.
Smith. We don't want to hurt your feelings. But Terrell Owens, 196, 164, 143. It looks like in doubles for 503. So 475, 503.
He has his work cut out for him.
And a lot of great things happening at the USBC convention this week. You can find out more about it on bowl.com. And portions of the convention will be shown live on Bowl TV. Jason Overstreet, hard at work downtown Reno to bring all of the news and action from the convention and annual meeting to you. So check your live stream schedule on bowl.com. Lucas Wiseman there as well. Giving Jason some tips.
Just about everybody's here in Reno for the convention or bowling or. It's a pretty exciting week. It's always fun to see a lot of familiar faces. Got to see Sandy Postma yesterday walking through the National Bowling Stadium. Sandy's getting inducted this year. Out of Lansing, Illinois, not too far away from where I'm at. Also, I didn't get to see him yesterday, but you saw PBA titleist Eugene McCune walking around. Eugene's in town to see his father, Don McCune, get inducted, and both of those guys from my neck of the woods in Indiana. So always fun to see people you know. Right now we're watching Team Terrell-Kearney finish up game number 2 here for a 9:20 opener. Stopping by the booth, we have Greg Moore. He's got a really long title, but we'll just say he's the production manager here at USBC. He's the one who, him and his team put together this great facility. He even helped us set up the live stream today, so thank you much to Greg and your team for all you do for us. He doesn't even know I'm talking about him right now.
Try to get him to come on and tell us a little bit about this venue. 44 lanes. Registration area. The concessions area is looking fantastic right now, by the way. There's a plasma screens, brackets results, pro shop area, vendors. Awesome masking units designed by Brock Kowalski.
The place really does look fantastic, and
all that came together in just a few weeks.
7 to 8 weeks. It's still amazing to think of all the time and effort and hours these guys put into turn blank empty floor into the premier stage in bowling. Great shot there by Tim Terrell-Kearney. USBC Hall of Famer, a 10-time titleist on the PWBA. Also a former Team USA member, so Kim's done it all here in the bowling world.
Now she's doing plenty for the bowling world. Actually, we invited her back to be on our USBC Open Championships team. We bowl Sunday and Monday this week, and she politely declined because Junior Team USA training camp starts on Monday. So she has to get back to the ITRC, International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas to lead the next generation of the best bowlers in the USA. So we're sad to not have her again this year on our roster, but proud of what she's doing to train. those folks who will carry on for us here are the next generation of participants at the Open and Women's Championships. Collegiate bowlers.
I think a few of those bowlers are in town as well this weekend. I believe I heard Danielle McEwen and Marshall Kent are in town, so perhaps we'll see them over at the Open one of these days.
You never do know who's going to show up at either event, really. Some surprises. And a good variety. Again, our Team USA members, first timers, recent collegiate national champion, Marshall Kent, Jacob Kent, not related. Dougie Fresh, as they call him.
Newly elected
Two-time
PBA Hall of Fame.
Two-time Masters champ will be on the lanes tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You can find him on xbowling.com. Doug Kent.
A lot of excitement going on at 7 p.m. tomorrow, or 7 p.m. Reno time at least. Although we hope your 7 p.m.s and other time zones are just as eventful. Along with Doug Kent, I believe Les Sykes is also bowling that squad, as well as another live stream from you and I and whoever else may be around. Featuring Chad Nelson and Dan Bach.
So Aaron, as long as we have the live stream gear out, I was thinking about maybe a helmet cam for Sunday for the team event. What do you think?
I like the sound of it.
Let the world see the Open Championships through my eyes. As I set my sights on the bar that you set for me just a couple weeks ago.
Tremendously low bar that I set for you several weeks ago.
I do appreciate that. But
I know you're busy.
we will not talk about it until it's over, unless I lose, and then we won't talk about it at all.
Felt bad after last year. My lone victory. So I gave you a number to reach in 6 games. Not 9.
But while we're here in this 44-lane venue at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center, let's talk about the day that I owned you in this very building. We were testing out the machines and the lanes, making sure scoring was working prior to the start of the Women's Championships. Probably the greatest performance of my entire life, and it didn't even count.
It was a pretty fun match outside of a particular footing incident by myself in the first frame where...
Yes, I believe when you go past that line with the buzzer on it, that's bad.
Well, as you said, we were testing out everything, making sure everything was functional. I was making sure the foul lights were working. And apparently that strike didn't count after that. Turned into a 6 count real quick. And that's how you lose 275 to 255, I believe. Or got some strange count at the end by you, but I believe that was a pair away from 27-8 here. I think we were on 25 and 6 for that. Seemed everyone else enjoyed it except for me, so.
Well, I do appreciate the confidence boost anyway.
That's what I'm here for, man.
You're the Media Relations Department morale officer. See if we can get some hoorah here out of Kim Terrell-Kearney and Leanne Hulsenberg. Game 3 of the team event, 2013 USBC Women's Championships. First broadcast of the year. Our first look at the venue. And the all-handicap format for the last year here at the Women's Championships. 3 divisions, Diamond, Ruby, and Sapphire. Kim Terrell-Kearney up on lane 27. Her score so far today, 195, 223. And team scores of 920 and 944.
The group is well under their entering average of 1090 here through 2 games, but
they're still smiling.
They're still smiling. They're still having a good time. Chatting back and forth, hanging out with Scratch 5 out of Post Falls, Idaho as well.
I wonder if Scratch 5, I wonder if they even know what's happening, that they are world famous right now on Bull TV. 249 people at this moment logged in to watch. I think they're here to watch them. Idaho going wild right now. Scratch 5, front and center. Very cool. Hopefully they'll check out the archived broadcast when they get home. See great shots like that.
It's a nice break for Arlene Wendell.
All looks great on the scoreboard.
It does. She says, what 5-7? Take care of that.
The M&Ms rolling next to us. You guys can't see them on your screen. You're missing out. Some great outfits here. Almost every team on this 11 a.m. team squad dressed alike. Pride awards flying off the shelves here at the Women's Championships. Dress for success.
These ladies certainly have. It's a good looking bunch out here.
Tell all your friends, USBC Hall of Famers. Kim Terrell-Kearney, Leanne Hulsenberg, live on Bull TV. California Hall of Famer, I believe, Lauren Takahashi. Youngster, looks like. Up and comer, maybe. Kaylin Washburn. They're all youngsters, actually. Still in their prime. Leanne proved it a couple of years ago. Kim, a couple of years before that. I would not bowl either one of them for money anytime, anywhere. Absolutely not.
They're not bad.
Both of them with youngsters of their own now. The next generation of youth bowlers. Bowling families.
We had
Kim's husband, Eric Kearney, the USBC Managing Director of Operations, in town as well for a convention. Saw him yesterday. Very active with the charities and such with the USBC. Talented bowler as well. And Gary Hulsenberg owns a 298 game at the USBC Open Championships back in 2006. Left the 4-9. Pretty solid shot.
and a chance to talk to Eric a little bit over the course of the past few days. He was busy at convention, so he was unable to join us out here, but easily one of the nicest guys I've ever met, ever. Eric Kearney. Another great shot by Kim. Seems like she's figuring out the soil pattern a little bit. Getting into a bit of a groove here.
Not to brag or name drop, but I did bowl a 300 game against Kim Terrell-Kearney at the ITRC. I don't have many claims to fame, but well, there's only a few actually. But for what it's worth, I can say I was the first left-hander to roll a 300 game at the ITRC, and it came against Kim Terrell-Kearney, first one. So cool. I would put that up against her U.S. Open title, Queen's title. But you take what you can get. And
absolutely.
I'm running with that one.
Small victories, be that as it may, are still victories, Matt. Much like my victory last year in Baton Rouge, your soon-to-be victory in several days.
Well, sir, I do think the fact that we are alert and happy to be here is a victory. It's been a long 30 hours, but the fact that we get to bring bowling to the world and see these great players in action makes up for any potential exhaustion.
Since 7 p.m. last night local time here in Reno. This is our third live stream, and let's call it about 18 hours, give or take. That's not even it for this week, so we're going strong for a lot of great action and a lot of big scores and excitement as well.
Well, as you say, there's time to sleep in July. Wouldn't have it any other way. This certainly is the best office that I could think of. Beats the cubicle life any day of the week.
Great shot by Kim Terrell-Kearney. Three-bagger to start game number 3. Callan Washburn's getting ready to step up on lane 28. She made a ball change at the beginning of game number 2, and it seems like she's gone back to her original ball, but staying in approximately the same area of the lane. We'll see how that works out. She struck last time. And that's a double. She made the right choice out there. Looking for a big finish after a 177-184 start. Titleist here at the Women's Championships, Lauren Takahashi stepping up. 162-168 in her first 2 offerings. She's been around the pocket all day. Carey hasn't been on her side. She got that one a little wide as she left it 2-pin. Terrell stepping up now. She started off with 175 and 168. And I saw last frame her sister and Team USA assistant coach Kim Terrell-Kearney giving her a few pointers. Unfortunately, that shot was a little wide, a 210. Let's see if Sandra can make a run at the spare here. Just off our camera, Kim Callan and Leanne are having a good time, laughing it up, as enjoying themselves as they hit the lanes here at the 2013 Women's Championships. Kim looking to keep her string of strikes going. It's kind of got locked in here these this past game and a half or so. Started striking quite a bit. 195, 223. The shot runs just a little bit high. See if she can clean up the force up. So Matt, looks like we won't see the first honor score of the year here at the Women's Championships, as Kim Terrell-Kearney left a fast 8 fourth frame.
So Aaron, we talked about some of the milestones and different things about this event, and that was actually a phone call from the Tampa Bay Times calling about Minnie Tavaska, who we talked about earlier. She'll be making her 67th appearance at the Women's Championships. Now, the event isn't that old. It's only in this 94th year, and she's been to 67 of them now, or once she arrives. But they are getting ready for her trip to Reno, and she's getting some some ink down there in St. Petersburg area. Certainly a fantastic feat to do anything 67 times, let alone 67 years in a row, is unbelievable. That's more than twice as long as you've been alive, and she's been consistently coming to this event. And just the way she lights up the venue when she comes in, no doubt, it's going to be a special day when she celebrates number 67.
Absolutely. Minnie kicked off her women's championships career in 1947. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Minnie is originally from the, not sure if it's Detroit area, but definitely in Michigan. Before moving out to St. Petersburg, but yeah, hard to conceive doing anything for that long, and especially to be a trooper the way Minnie has, and just comes out and still throws the ball pretty well for not sure if she'll be 94 or 95 when she competes this year, but she's still tough out there on the lanes. Her eyesight isn't as good as it once was, so she actually has a spotter, if you will, when she doesn't strike. Has someone tell her what pin she left up there, and that's all she needs to know. She doesn't. She knows 10 pins up there, or 7 pin, or anything like that. When she knows she's good to go, she gets up there, and she'll make it more than you would imagine. It's always fun. 2010, I got a live video for bowl.com, and she just goes out there. She just has the ball out of the lanes, and her teammates and just everybody around her kind of soaks in the good vibes from Minnie, and it's a party out in the lanes. There's a nice shot by Sandra, bouncing back from that 210 last frame. Makes the right adjustment after the 4-7 last frame. That's 4 out of 5 strikes to start game number 3. Nice strike there by Carolyn Anderson to scratch 5. She's off to a nice start here in game 3. Start off with a double.
So Aaron, I'm also answering a couple questions right now about some things to do while in Reno, some different trips and activities available. And the best place to find out information about what's going on and where to go and what to see is mybowlingvacation.com. It's the official travel site, partner of USBC. mybowlingvacation.com. You go on there, book your plane tickets, hotel rooms, day trips, you name it, all kinds of goodies on there. One-stop shopping for your trip to Reno. And even better, special incentive this year, if you book 3 room nights through mybowlingvacation.com at any of our participating properties downtown here in Reno, you receive a free entry into the 900 Global 2-game challenge, a $40 value. So you're gonna stay in a hotel room anyway. Book 3 nights, $40 in your pocket to go bowl 2-game challenge. I think one of our competitors was telling me yesterday he won the 2-game challenge. It has a daily payout and a year-long payout, and he had the opportunity to bowl the other day and took home first prize that day, $320. So
very nice turnaround there.
You can parlay that $40 at free entry, turn that into 300 or so, just like that. All you got to do is book through mybowlingvacation.com and you're all set. All kinds of freebies. We talked about some incentives earlier for competing in 2014 at the Open and Women's Championships. Sign up by July 1st. All kinds of free money and things coming your way. Check that out on bowl.com. Each tournament page has a register now box with complete details. Don't miss out. We're making it easy on you. Throwing money at you. Incentives, championships, cash, money back, rebates, free entries. We want you here. And we appreciate you guys coming. So come on out and book your trip on mybowlingvacation.com.
A nice break there for Sandra. Got that shot a little wide, but nothing like a trip two to loosen up the arm swing a little bit. Trip two, always the right-hander's best friend when it's not the 4 or the 9 or anything else. So. Terrell-Kearney is lined up right now, Matt. Striking at will. Came with 5 out of 6 to start game number 3. She made the turn at 418 after games of 195 and 223. Looking to put together a nice set here in team. And strike there. That's a very nice 6th frame for Team Terrell-Kearney. Each member striking.
So Aaron, we do have a full day ahead of us. Believe it or not, we've enjoyed every minute of May 2nd so far. So we're going to head back from here to the National Bowling Stadium, where Bob Brissett is celebrating 50 years on the tournament lanes there at the Open Championships. And we also have Clinton Zafagos celebrating 59 years. So he'll be featured in our tournament yearbook next year as a 60-year participant, a very elite club. And looking forward to, again, hearing his stories on the evolution of the Open Championships. And lot of these guys traveled by train, or as they say, planes, trains, and automobiles. And some interesting stories about getting to the Open Championships in the olden days, and coming with shirts and ties and one bowling ball, and the evolution of the scoreboards and the technology, and very cool to visit with those gentlemen and ladies. We have a handful of women participating in the Open Championships this year for the 20th time. So they first were allowed to participate in the event in 1994, and 11 of them have participated every year since. So another cool feature coming your way on bowl.com. And some milestones at the Women's Championships as well, as we talked about Minnie Tavaska. And is it Jacqueline Baker?
Jacqueline Baker, yep.
50 years here at the Women's Championships. So all cool stories, along with the big scores. We're hoping to see some big scores here out of Sandra Terrell, Kim Terrell-Kearney, Leanne Hulsenberg, Lauren Takahashi.
They are starting to strike here in game number 3. There's a team 8-bagger. And 11 out of the last 12. It doesn't get much better than that, Matt. Kim Terrell leading the way. So we're looking to put together another all-strike frame.
So, Aaron, we've talked a lot about the history of the Women's Championships here, going back to 1916. Traditional bowling centers all the way until 2010. And now this fantastic arena setting from 2010, 11, now 13 and 14. You've had the responsibility, the privilege to be a part of this event since 2009. And we talked about some of your top moments, but what is your favorite moment, if you can name one, from your few years here?
Favorite moment from the Women's Championships? Oh, that's a tough order there, Matt. Certainly a lot of moments stick out. Watching the first 300 game, getting to cover that at the Women's Championships in 2009. Lindsay Bonificini out of San Diego roll her 300 on, I believe it was the either second or third to last day of the tournament. Kind of been waiting that out all year, waiting for one to happen, and watching her trip the 4-pin on the final shot was pretty exciting. Watching Krishna Howard come back, and I think it was almost the same scenario in 2010. Just starting off with games with matching 246s. Put 12 strikes together in her final game. It was 792 to win the scratch and diamond singles title. If I had to pick one favorite moment, I think I would have to go back to, we've talked about it a few times already, was Jody Wessner's 8-16 series on her way to the record all-event score of 23:30. It was just a very cool thing to be a part of. We get to see a lot of big scores working here at the tournament, and I talked earlier this year about getting to be in the trenches videotaping Lodge Lanes 2 over at the Open Championships, setting the team record, which had been standing for 20 years. And there's just something special about those moments when everything just goes right for a group or an individual, and those happen to be few and far between sometimes. So that was really one of them that, especially after a long week, a lot of big scores, almost every squad, a lot of hours that week, and just to kind of end the craziness of the Women's Championships week with the Queens involved that year in 2010, that was just a great way to finish off that. Had some stuff going on in my personal life as well. That was a little bit unfortunate. My grandmother passed away at that same time, so it just meant a lot at that time to kind of be involved with everything and get to watch Jody put on a performance like that.
Aaron, are you crying? Getting a little emotional?
It was a crazy week, man. That was all tied together and made that a little more special.
Well, as you said, that's what those are the kind of things that make the long days worth it for sure. And knowing the role that you play, or that we play, in the history of this event. And just actually got a text message from Matt McNeil thanking us for the coverage and the story on Bull.com. And of course, you know, we joke, but we know our roles. And well, he's out there throwing strikes and making headlines, and it's our job to tell the world about it. Well, perhaps if we were better on the lanes, we wouldn't spend so much time behind the cameras and the typewriters and computers, but that's what we do, and we're glad to do it. So congratulations to Matt on a solid performance this year as well. Glad to share that news with the world. And we're going to share a little more news with the world. There's a question in the chat room with looking for some insight into the host city selection process for the Open and Women's Championships. Well, certainly not a short explanation by any means, but you know, the first answer I always give folks is that, you know, in order to go to different cities, we have to find places that want us. And there are a number of requirements involved in hosting one of these events. The most important one is the use of the convention center for many, many months at a time. And for the Open Championships, that can last anywhere from, you know, December all the way until almost August, if you count construction, the tournament itself, and then the teardown process. And for the Women's Championships, a little bit shorter. But certainly the city has to be willing to give up the convention center space for that period of time, which often could mean displacing other events, flower shows and wedding bridal shows and boat shows and all kinds of things that would take up the convention space, maybe just for a few days or a week at a time over the course of the year. But a number of those events that are held there annually, and potentially displacing them for a year would not be a good business decision, because those events would find somewhere else to go and may not return. So for the possibility of 1 year with the Open or Women's Championships, maybe not the best decision. So there's certainly something that comes into play. But now with the growth of the two events, both in duration and space required, now the Open Championships requiring a minimum of 48 lanes, the Women's Championships 44 lanes here this year. You know, some of the convention centers we might have been to in the past, or older standing buildings, just not big enough. So there needs to be so much space for the lanes, the grandstands, the locker area, squad rooms, concessions, vendor area. So everything that comes into putting this venue together takes up a lot of space. So got to have enough room and, without any obstacles, of course, to get the lane straight across. So size requirements for the building. Need to have so many hotel rooms in the city, rental cars, flights in and out, restaurants, all the little details that are necessary to welcome for the Open Championships more than 60,000 bowlers, and the Women's Championships more than 30,000 over the course of 100 plus days. So that's a steady flow of folks in and out of town. Got to be able to accommodate them. And those are some of the challenges that the cities face. And again, we're glad to visit and pitch the events to all different cities. But in the end, they have to want us, and it comes down to a process where they put in bids, and we select finalists for the available years. Visit the cities, check out the venues, accommodations, and the things to do in and around. And that's that. So if you have a city that you'd be interested in seeing as a host city for the championships, certainly talk with the local bowling association, talk with the local legislature. Let them know the Open Championships will bring in about $100 million to the local economy. Women's Championships between 40 and 50, and a steady flow of people over those few months. So clearly, if you have the space and the time, a no-brainer. $1 million or two investment, and you get your money back 100 times over. But again, have to have the space and time available, and that's that. As we know, we talked earlier, Las Vegas and Reno, big partners for the USBC Open and Women's Championships, rolling out the red carpet. Reno in the process of a $15 million renovation to the National Bowling Stadium. And Las Vegas putting up a $30 million bowling arena at South Point. So we'll be headed to those two cities and others as well over the next few years. You can find out information about that on bowl.com. So there's the long-winded answer. So anytime check out those details, find it on bowl.com. Want to welcome Emil Williams Jr. into the chat room. The missing link of this operation, no doubt. It could be one fantastic three-man booth.
Get on that horse ball.
Get on the horse ball, absolutely. Emil, if you're ready to come back, we'll get you on the schedule for June. How about it? You know the number. Your fans are requesting. Get the band back together.
Absolutely. Miss you, buddy. You enjoyed the craziness of the past 20 plus hours or so. Speaking of the past 20 hours, we're getting pretty close to the end here, man. We are getting ready for the 10th frame.
It's never the end, Mr. Smith. It's just an intermission until our next broadcast to the world.
Watch Team Terrell-Kearney finish up their 10th frame here, along with Scratch 5 out of Post Falls, Idaho. Kellen Washburn is stepping up on lane 28. Still has a chance of 206 out there. All 3 strikes. And a trip 2 starts it off. Kellen finishes up with 193 for a 554 team series.
Here in breaking news, Mike Fagan signs with Storm Bowling. So we saw him yesterday having a photo shoot at the National Bowling Stadium. And now it's official. The handshake with Bill Chrisman. Mike Fagan will be throwing Storm equipment. Leanne Hulsenberg, a Storm staffer as well. See if she can deliver 3 more strikes. And her final frame here, this 11 a.m. team event. Live from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center, 2013 USBC Women's Championships. Your first look inside this venue. Half a dozen more live stream broadcasts from right here. Don't miss out. Next one coming up from the WC Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Don't forget to tune in. YouTube.com/BowlTV. Carolyn Dorn Ballard on the lanes. Looking forward to that one. She's always entertaining. CDB.
She finishes with a strong 221. Give her 551 for the day. And after a few early opens, Sandra Terrell striking quite a bit at the end of the game here. Off camera, we're starting to see some of the scoreboards across the house switch over to doubles and singles.
So Aaron, before we wrap up then, what are the squad times here at the Women's Championships in 2013?
Well, much like the Open, we kick off at 7 a.m. with a doubles and singles squad. We're watching the end of the 11 a.m. team squad. And we actually have part of the 2 p.m. doubles and singles marching out already. So unlike the Open this year, the women's follows the old path of following the team event right after without a re-oil. So These ladies marching out will bowl on what's left. After the 2 p.m. finishes up, we will re-oil and have a 6 p.m. team squad, the second of the day. And it's finally followed with the final squad of the day, the 9 p.m. doubles and singles. So 5 squads here at the women's. It's also looking to change next year as well.
So what you're saying is we're always open to suggestions and change, evolution,
Absolutely.
progression. Trying to enhance the bowling experience at both major championships. A lot of changes in recent and future years. So learn all about it on bowl.com. Please come out, tell everybody, bring a team. Come see Kim Terrell-Kearney throw shots like that. Great shot there, leaves the 7 pin. 232 to finish the day for the Hall of Famer. We'll see her later tonight at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We're going to watch Linda Barnes go into the Hall of Fame, amongst others.
Kim finishes up with a 650 in team. Sandra went 198 in her finale for 541. And we'll watch Leanne finish up here.
Aaron, how many people can say that they get to spend their days live streaming and rubbing elbows with Hall of Famers?
Not too many of them, I would imagine. But this week they're everywhere, so. Hall of Famers everywhere here in Reno. Celebrating the induction of a few more into their exclusive club. Leanne finishes with a 4 pin for a 168 finale. Giving her a 580 series. Helping Team Terrell-Kearney to a 28-76 scratch score. Scratch 5, their crossing team here this year. Post Falls, Idaho goes 1863.
A little more laid-back atmosphere here at the Women's Championship, slower pace. And we're glad to bring it to you live from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. Your first look, half a dozen more coming up. We'll be back on the air later tonight. Check bowl.com for the upcoming live stream schedule. Variety of things coming to you. But for today, that's going to do it. For Aaron Smith, this is Matt Cannizzaro. Thanks for joining us. Kim Terrell-Kearney, Leanne Hulsenberg, Lauren Takahashi. Good times here at the Women's Championships. Check back to bowl.com for more news and information. And that's the news for now, Aaron Smith. We'll see you on the lanes.